Japan's economy has contracted unexpectedly, pushing the country into recession and causing it to lose its position as the world's third largest economy to Germany. Gross domestic product shrank at an annualized pace of 0.4% in the last 3 months of 2023. Japan's economy slipped to the fourth largest in the world in dollar terms last year. Germany now has the world's third largest economy. Ajay Jandyal, my colleague, joins us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Akash Jindal, senior economist, also with us on the show. Ajay, this is in fact sad to see. Japan's economy shrinking to this size in a number of years is definitely going to raise alarm bells.
Well, definitely it's a matter of concern for them as, they have slipped to the fourth position, and Japan imports 94% of its energy requirements and 63% of its food. So the weak yen, significantly contributing to a higher cost of living, and that is what exactly the experts are saying, and they are saying that weak currency, typically makes import costlier, and private consumption was particularly weak, and market expectations was for it to be, flat. But Naman was quoted as saying, and unfortunately this will get worse in January, following the Sea of Japan earthquake and other things. And so the reason seems that, after the recent earthquake and the way basically economic, economies, going down, that shows that in coming time, Japan is going to face more trouble as far as the recession is concerned.
Mr. Akash Jindal, senior economist, also with us on the program. Mr. Jindal, up until 2010, Japan was the second largest economy in the world. And this trend started in 1968. And, it's amazing to see that in 1945, this was the same country which had the hydrogen bomb dropped on it by the Americans. And within a couple of decades, they were able to come back and pull together, and become the second largest economy for about 40 to 50 years. What's happened in Japan in the last few years? Do you think that, rampant sale and, sharing of technology has also led to this particular decline? The population in Japan has also been a concern for a lot of people as, the median age in Japan for, citizens is around 65. That means there are not too many people being born in Japan as well.
Vineet, it's really interesting to, do shows with a knowledgeable anchor like you who can take me back to the Second World War. Yes, you are very right. Post-Second World War, Japan, see, it had a decent growth. 60s, 70s, it had a decent growth. But I'll take you back in late 80s and early 90s. Late 80s, what happened was, there was a huge bank loan boom. What it did was, it inflated stock prices and land prices in Japan. Now what happened was, 90s was the period when stock market fell there drastically up to 60%. That was followed by a real estate crisis. Now initially it was thought that it's a cyclical thing. It would ultimately, the cycle would turn positive, but it never did. And prior to that, the yen, which was compelled to be optimally valued, that also dented Japan's exports. And now what's happening is, the main issue is lack of private consumption, lackluster private consumption. That's the basic issue. Now, what it points out is a very important thing. The negative rate policy, should it continue or not? And I'm making a statement here. According to me, the negative rate policy, rate of interest policy, must be discontinued. It could be neutral rate of interest, but negative rate of interest policy, I think it had its impact, and it had a lot of negative impact on Japan. Yes, right. They have been big exporters of automobiles, other things, but they have to rethink and restructure their economy, and private consumption has to boom. And see, that's why in India, when we talk about domestic consumption, now people would understand the value of domestic consumption. When we always talk that we are a domestic demand-driven economy, that's the strength which India has, which Japan never had, and they had been importing a lot of fuel. So inflation had a negative impact on that. These have been 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth, which clearly means that Japan technically is in recession. Also, let me inform the viewers that though Germany has become the third biggest economy, it's not that Germany is performing very well. Germany is also not doing well. But because Japan has been performing very badly, Japan has been contracting, That's why Germany has become the third biggest economy. And this also tells that the way Japan and Germany are struggling, India, which is the fifth biggest economy, now we are planning that within 2 to 3 years, we are expecting that we'll be the third biggest economy.
And I Mr. Jindal, just for context, let me tell you that the population of Japan is around 12 crores and the population of the state of Uttar Pradesh is double of that, 24 crores. So just to give you a context of how tiny Japan is and how they have dominated the world economies for the past few decades. But nevertheless, it's saddening to see that they've ended up here.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.